football. This was the most exciting player in college football, and so excited and happy for him to achieve a dream of his and be the Heisman Trophy winner. So excited night for Jayden Daniels and LSU.
Question for Coach, Ralph.
Brian here in the middle, Ralph Russo from AP. It seemed like you purposely sort of tried to rally the team. You seemed to lean into the idea of Jayden pursuing this award. I'm wondering what your thinking was on that, and if you felt like it helped, I don't know, motivate the team a little more after a couple of losses took them out of the playoff picture.
Yeah, I mean, I think you have to look for things today when your goals are to play for championships at LSU. And, certainly when we did not have that opportunity after the Alabama game, you start to, recalibrate. And certainly one of them was to rally behind what we considered was the best player in college football. And, every player that is in our program knew that we had a special player that was having a special year. I can't say that was the singular motivating factor. We talked about, wanting to finish up and get to 10 wins again for a second consecutive season. But there's no question our players were motivated to play their very best for what we considered was the best player in college football.
Third row center.
Coach here, Shea Dixon with On 3. I'll ask you the same thing I asked Jayden. 60 years between Billy Cannon and Joe Burrow winning. Now just across 5 seasons, LSU's got 2 Heisman winners at quarterback. What does that say when you go in homes and you make pitches to quarterbacks around the country of what LSU can do to develop quarterbacks?
Yeah, I think you look at it, in a couple of ways. Certainly, both quarterbacks were, in an offense that allowed them to utilize their talents, but also to develop the talents around them, outstanding receivers, so others benefit from this as well. It's not just singularly the Heisman Trophy winner, but this was a prolific offense as well. So I think what it says is that, the Heisman Trophy winner obviously is one thing, but it's also going to put you in a position to play in an offense that is going to highlight your skills as well. So I think it helps us from so many different facets, not only the individual trophy, but from, an offensive structure as well.
Coach Koki Riley for The Advertiser. You guys obviously weren't very shy in terms of promoting Jayden and trying to get him this award. What made this campaign so successful, do you think?
Well, I thought his play on the field. Look, let's look at some of the key things that had to occur. One, he got knocked down and essentially taken out of the Alabama game. Was in a concussion protocol. In many instances in my career, quarterbacks don't come back from that and take time. He comes back with one of the most exciting and obviously historic games the next week against a rival in Florida. I think that in itself was probably what really catapulted our efforts to say, listen, we have somebody here that is so special that he gets up off the mat after a disappointing game and a physical game in which he gets knocked out and has this kind of performance. We need to go all in here. And I think our social media team, our entire organization, led by Cody Worsham, Brandon Berrios, the entire team, they were outstanding in getting the information out, because that's what it was. It was good information, and it was factual, it was real, and I think because it was targeted that way and it was transparent, people saw it.
Brian, I got a couple if I can. Just the personal nature of you two betting and banking on each other and the journey that you all took to get to this point. And then second, Jayden obviously mentioned some of the support staff in his speech. Could you speak to what that means about him or what that says about him?
Well, when you come in early at 5 o'clock in the morning, you see some people that a lot of people don't see. And I know, some people kind of listened to his remarks and didn't really hear the full effects of them. But, when you walk into our building at 5 a.m., they're vacuuming the carpets, and you become really close with the midnight to 8 crew. And it's just, you'd have to be there. And so the people that are opening up doors for him, that he's associating with at that time in the morning, nutrition, our nutrition staff gets in that early. They're in at 5:15. Our strength staff is in that early. And so the support that they lended him as he was on this journey was real. And so we know about Coach Sloan and what he was able to do through the coaching and teaching at the quarterback position. Coach Denbrock are obviously, crucial. All the relationships that he had with our support staff were genuine, they were real, and they allowed him to be on this journey that led to a Heisman.
We're just going to do 2 more questions for Coach. Back to center.
Coach Yogi Roth, Pac-12 and Elite 11. I'm curious about the humility of Jayden, and if you could elaborate on that. In addition to expectations are thrown on quarterbacks more than any other position in sports now, how he dealt with that and how he dealt with the humility that you've seen behind the facility doors every day.
Yeah, I would point out 2 things. One, a transfer quarterback that comes in to your program has to win the locker room. And you do it by your work ethic. You do it by being humble. You do it with your actions. And he did that on a day-to-day basis. And he did it with incredible competition. There are really good quarterbacks in that room that he had to fend off every single day. He also, secondly, was named captain by his peers as a transfer coming in. He had the most votes of anybody in our program, and so that's real. Like, you have to be a real guy. You have to be respected by your peers. And I say, when you talk about the Heisman, you have to include the character of the individual. And it's always been, for me, the Heisman. I get the numbers, and we've shown the numbers, but I think that has got to be an award that brings character as well, and he brings that in every degree.
Last question. Back center at the right.
Jacques Doucet, WAP-TV in Baton Rouge. Coach, did he almost become undefendable in terms of if they drop 8, he's going to run, and if they come after him, he's going to hit a long pass? In terms of whatever defense they put out there, he seemed to be successful.
From a technical standpoint, there were times this year that in my conversations after games or, in between weeks, talking to peers, everything was tried that from defensive structures to do things to slow him down. And the best way to do it was not defensively. The only way to slow him down was to keep him off the field and limit possessions. And so there was nothing you really could do defensively against him this year. That's how good he was. It was limit the possessions that he had, because if you could limit his possessions, you then had a fighting chance to keep the points down enough that the offense, because we weren't prolific, obviously, defensively, you then had a chance to win the game. Thank you.